This podcast is an introduction to meditation and some of the basic struggles someone might encounter who's getting started in meditation. The purpose of this podcast was as a series of lectures given to people in 12-step addiction recovery. The purpose of these talks was to teach and motivate individuals to search for their own spiritual solution to addiction. I hope you enjoy listening to this podcast as much as I enjoyed making it, and please feel free to comment as you see fit. I want to talk a little bit today about meditation. Excuse me. There's a tremendous amount of misunderstanding and a tremendous amount of confusion around meditation and the purpose of meditation and what meditation is for. Why meditate? And well, really the outcome. You know, if I engage in this process of meditation, I'm going to have this specific outcome. Now, if I think back to my own personal experience around meditation, there are a few different types of meditation. So certainly the one that I heard about, I was raised in a Christian environment. The Christian way of meditating is you get a Bible verse and then you think about that Bible verse. That's how I understand that way of doing Christian meditation. I don't know any more that I can possibly add to that. That's about the extent of it. Whether it be a verse or a passage, and then you think about it. When I first attended 12-step meetings, what they said is praying is talking to God and meditating is listening. And I can't think of a more meaningless phrase ever. You know, it's not actually saying anything. It's not actually teaching us or showing us or guiding us as to what it is that we're supposed to be doing when we meditate. Listen to what? Listen for what? Listen to God talk to me like I'm going to hear some voice in my head? Because I've never heard, well, I have heard voices, but that was because of drug psychosis, not because of God speaking to me. If you start hearing voices, I think you need to tell someone, you know? I think it's a bit of a dangerous set of circumstances. My sponsor said to me, he's a meditator and he had some experience around meditation, and he said to me, the only way that you will find out what the benefits of meditation are is by meditating and seeing what the benefits of meditation are. Now, for the longest time, I believed that if I could meditate, that it would solve a whole lot of my problems. If I could just, I'll meditate and then I'll solve these problems, and these problems will be solved because I'm meditating. I don't know if anybody can identify with that statement. Like, meditation is the silver bullet solution, the one solution to all the problems that I have. The problem with that was that I could never actually get to the point of doing the actual meditation to see if it was a cure-all for the problems that I was having. There was a period of time where I was experiencing a tremendous amount of anxiety and a tremendous amount of stress, to the point where I was having panic attacks. And I went and bought, there is a book on the bookshelf, I don't see it there right now, called Mindfulness. Is it in the house somewhere? Does somebody have it? Well, it comes with a CD, and it's got a dozen or so different kind of meditations in it. And one of the meditations is I think it's the raisin meditation, where you take a raisin and you feel the texture and you chew it and you taste it, and that's the meditation. So, I mean, there's some pretty lame examples of meditation in that book. But I was committed because I was really under a lot of pressure and the panic attacks were freaking me out. And I thought, you know what? Time to apply this meditation business and see if there's anything to it. Incredibly desperate. So I would put the CD on, and the object of the exercise is 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon. Listen to the CD. It was a guided meditation with the CD, and I would sit there and surprise, surprise, didn't help me with my stress and didn't help me with my panic attacks. And I started getting more and more frustrated having to sit and do the 15 minutes of meditation up to the point. And the CD irritated me because of the person's voice on the CD was really annoying. So eventually after 2 weeks I was like, bugger, this is not doing one thing. When I would sit and do the actual meditation, for those 15 minutes or for 5 minutes of those 15 minutes I would be quite calm and quite serene. But that was it. After that meditation exercise, it served no lasting purpose and there was no lasting benefit out of the exercise. So I packed that in. It is in the steps. It is in our steps, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood it. So there is a suggestion of meditation in the steps there. And I got to a point where I undertook out of my own to take the responsibility to learn and to teach myself how to meditate as part of the step 11 practice. And I did just that. I've read extensively on meditation. Now, you can think for yourself, who are the meditators? If you have to think, who are the people, if I need to go and find someone who does this meditation business, where am I going to go? The Buddhists are big meditators, exactly. The Dalai Lama and all of these guys. So I started researching and I started reading. Now, I'm not a Buddhist. I will never be a Buddhist. I have no intentions of ever becoming a Buddhist. But I wanted to find out about this meditation business. And somebody suggested to me mindfulness, which is a derivative of the Buddhist meditation without all the religious blah that goes with it, the religious structure. And there's a lot of information available on mindfulness meditation. Go to exclusive books, and you go to the mind, body and spirit section, sometimes even in the psychology section of exclusive books. And there's plenty of, that's where I got that book from, exclusive books, the mindfulness book I got from exclusive books. And it had some very good information in it that was helpful. The problem that I have with meditating with a CD, besides the fact that it's really annoying, is that I can only do the meditation if I have the CD and if I have a CD player. And in today's age where we have music on our phones and headphones and all of that kind of thing, it's not such a big deal. But still, if my battery is flat, I'm dependent on having that CD to be able to do that meditation. Now, my understanding of meditation is I should be able to do it anywhere, anytime, anyhow. I believe very much the same in the sitting. Now, they give the classic, you have to sit with the lotus and with your back straight and sitting on the ground. I have a problem with my back. I had a procedure on my back. So for me to sit on the ground with my legs crossed, I get a sore back. So, again, can I only do this meditation when I'm sitting in a specific position? Now, of course, what the Christian faith told me was that if I do that lotus position business, I am just opening myself up for all kinds of demon possessions, and it's going to be a terrible, it's going to be bad. Don't do it. Has anybody else heard that? Or am I the, okay, so you guys have heard that message as well. I'm not the only one. And this is really where I believe step 3 really plays an important role, is because if I let go, if I hand my will and my life over to a power greater than myself, then I should be able to go and do whatever it is that I need to do, and that higher power will take care of me. Any fear that I have around that higher power not taking care of me is my fear, and my getting in the way of allowing that higher power to take care of me, allowing God to take care of me. So I started with the research, my own personal research and my own personal reading, and I spent about 3 years reading diligently every bit of material that I could find about meditation. Now, I did read the Dalai Lama's suggestions on how to meditate. One of the central precepts, one of the core things in meditation is breathing. It's very, very central to meditation. And interestingly enough, if you look at the definition of the Sanskrit word nirvana, it means to breathe out. That's what the direct translation of that word means. I love the band Nirvana, obviously. I'm sure all of you have heard of Nirvana. I love Nirvana. But we've all heard of Nirvana, just have a general knowledge around what Nirvana means. Like bliss, that state of bliss, heavenly state, or whatever it is. The Sanskrit word is breathe out. So breathing is very central. So what the Dalai Lama said in his book is he would breathe, he would count his breaths up until 21, and if his mind drifted off, he would go back to 1 again. So he was counting his, one would be 1 in breath and 1 out breath would be 1, and then he would count to 21. And if he got to 10 and his mind drifted off, then he'd start at 1 again. So the 21, and I tried it a few times, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get to 21. It was just impossible. My sponsor said to me, and this will maybe become a bit clearer as we go on. My sponsor said to me, 10. Count to 10. And he was very good and he was very diligent, because I got a lot of advice from him around this stuff. He was a meditator and he would do the whole day. Count to 10 breaths and he'd go about his business and do his thing, and he'd be, count to 10 and start at 1 again, and count to 10 and start at 1 again. And I couldn't and can't think of anything more mind-numbingly boring in my life than counting to 10 or 21 again and again and again and again and again, just to occupy my mind with something. Now, I went to the School of Practical Philosophy because they did a meditation course. And it was something like a 12-week course. I can't remember, 3 months, something like that. I can't remember. And it was a whole training procedure. And what they taught, the meditation that they taught, was mantra meditation. So you'll all be very familiar with the classic hippie Om. And the idea behind the mantra is not necessarily to do it out loud, but to do the Om in your mind and hold that frequency and hold that vibration So as opposed to counting from 1 to 21, to have that in your mind the whole time while you do your meditation. And that's mantra meditation is the classic transcendental meditation. Now, anybody who's ever set foot inside a church has heard that transcendental meditation is, if you want to sell your soul to Satan, transcendental meditation is the way to do it. Now, all it is, it would be exactly the same thing as counting. It's just occupying your mind with a word for an extended period of time. There are many mantras. Part of the school of practical philosophy, they give a specific mantra that is their mantra that they have passed down from the teacher that they follow as part of their meditation school. I can't remember what it is. I don't like mantra meditation myself personally. To me, it feels to a degree like distracting myself, as opposed to doing actual meditation. So I'm distracting myself with a mantra the whole time. Now, there's an interesting point in the United States military, in the US military. Every hour, a soldier commits suicide. Every hour. So every hour we've been sitting here, one soldier has been committing suicide every hour. And there's a guy who has started, I happened to hear him talk, this was on a TED talk, talking about how he was trying to work with the veterans in teaching them meditation to help them overcome their PTSD. And he was using mantra meditation to help them do that. And there's a specific reason, and there's a specific place, I believe, for counting and stuff like that. Is if somebody is just unable to do or focus on the breathing in meditation, because it's quite a delicate balance. So I'll give you an example. As part of my learning, I always used to sit and do meditation with my eyes closed, because I thought that's how meditation is supposed to work. But if you look, just think about it, if you look at every Buddha statue, every statue of the Buddha, you'll always see the Buddha sitting in the lotus position with his eyes just open a third. So in an effort, because obviously I want to do as well, I want to apply myself to the very best of my ability to understand and to learn meditation, I started meditating with my eyes open, opening my eyes, and it took me about 3 months to get used to meditating with my eyes open. So from eyes closed to eyes open. So the meditation, it's quite a delicate thing. It's not, if you have a lot of post-traumatic stress and a lot of noise and things going through your head, meditation might be a little bit soft, a little bit light, a little bit gentle, something perhaps a bit more advanced, where something like a mantra or counting can be really helpful. When I changed, I went and did another lecture. I don't know if you guys know this movie. Some of you will know the Doctor Strange movie. Yes, Marvel's my favorite Marvel movie. Are you the only one who knows it? Doctor Strange. Yeah. Yes. So in Doctor Strange, the consultant who helped them with some of the technical details of the movie came and did a lecture. He was a Buddhist monk, came and did a lecture on meditation. And what I was doing in my meditation is I was focusing purely on the breathing in my abdomen. So just the air going in and out of my lungs. That's how I was doing it, and it was great. And what he said, he was the one who mentioned the eyes open, but he also said that the best way to do meditation is to focus on the air going in and out of your nose. And that took me just nearly 6 months to go from focusing on the air going in and out of my lungs to the air in my nose. It was a very, very difficult transition. It's such a simple thing. Such a small change to the meditation routine, but very, very difficult procedure to master. And you can think of going through something like that when you're experiencing some kind of PSTD or something like that. It's not working. So I would say to a very large degree that the type of meditation that I do is mindfulness meditation, because I don't do mantra meditation. I'm not a Buddhist. I've read a lot of Buddhist texts, and I've listened to the Buddhists, and I've listened to their teachings and taken from their teachings what I believe the information that I need to be able to meditate. And the object of the exercise, from what I've learned, is to sit quietly twice a day and focus on your breathing. That's it. That's what meditation is. It's not complicated. It's not fraught with all of these other things. All that you are doing is focusing on your breathing. Now, at the start of the discussion, I said I always thought that meditation was a silver bullet cure for every problem that ailed me. In the 3 years of study that I did on meditation helped me so much with all of those areas of my life. It's hard to put into words. What happened and what my learning, what my experience was taking responsibility and putting in as much effort as I could to try and understand. And in that process, I untangled a lot of the mess in my mind, and then have been able to meditate as a result of that. It's a very, very, possibly one of the hardest disciplines that I've had to learn, is just to put the time in and to actually do it. So I can't tell you from my own personal experience whether it's the actual process of sitting and meditating, whether it's the actual discipline of the long-term experience, or whether it's the discipline of educating myself that is the benefit of meditation. For me, it's definitely the process of educating myself. Really, so much has changed through that process. But it's slow, long pursuit of one thing. So, I would like to do a meditation now. Does anybody have a problem with meditating? Any objectives? I would like to do a short meditation now and show you the way that I do it, the way that I've learned. So I'm all sure you'll all have had experience of, if I start talking about blinking and your eyelids, then you immediately start thinking about how much you're blinking and what is going on with your eyes, and become a little bit obsessed with your blinking. Now, a very similar thing happens with the breathing. So when I start focusing on my breathing, I start trying to control my breathing, or trying to interfere, become short of breath, because it gets very confused, like with the eyelids. That's just part of don't let that stop you. The problem I always had with counting my breaths, and I did this. I have a metronome. Does everybody know what a metronome is? Those things that you put on the piano that helps keep time. I have a metronome, and I put the metronome on to try and manage my breath going in and out, that I could do it, because I want to do it properly. Unfortunately, we don't breathe like that. We don't breathe like robots. 1.5 seconds in, 1.5 seconds out. It doesn't work like that. Like watching a movie, we watch the air going in and out of our lungs. I don't want to do the nose meditation. I would say move on to that at a point. But what I do want to do is try and do the meditation with your eyes open. Remember, the idea is to be able to practice this breathing technique at any time during the day, wherever you are. If you're at the coffee station, washing the dishes, sitting on the stoep there, whatever it is, to be able to access this technique. So eyes open, and when I talk about eyes open, I'm talking about just the third open. Now, don't beat yourself up if you can't do it properly, because remember, it took me 3 months to be able to do this meditation with my eyes open. This is the first time I'm sure some of you guys are going to be doing this. Whether what is a third? Is it a little bit up? Is it a little bit down? And then my eyes start wobbling and freaking out, and it's part of the thing. Your mind will drift off. It is okay if that happens. It's okay if that happens. Just come back to the breathing. Do not get down on yourself because you can't do the eyes properly. Do not get down on yourself because you can't do the breathing properly. Do not get down on yourself because you hear and your mind immediately goes down a rabbit hole. All right? Just, okay, and you just come back to breathing in and out. Okay, everybody clear on what the exercise is? So I know you're all facing me. I do apologize. We all just kind of focus generally in the middle distance here, in the middle of the floor. Okay, what I need is, you can sit, if you want to sit cross-legged on your chair, that's fine. Otherwise, both feet on the ground, and then sit up straight in your chair, and make sure that your back is not going to get sore. They do say that ideally you should take your back away from the seat, but it's not necessary. If your back is going to hurt, then don't do it. It's not like you need to have this thing perfect. Start the discipline. See if you can do it on an ongoing basis. That's more important as to whether you're sitting with your back straight or not. Find out what it is that you need to know about your posture and how your posture works. Okay, so hands on your thighs, as long as everybody's comfortable. If you want to do the hand thingies. Now, what they do say is if you do your hands like this, why they say hands like this is not for any religious or spiritual significance. It's just so that you've got some way to put your hands that they don't flop around all over the place. That's really what it is. And then eyes 3/4 open. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a timer on. And when the timer goes off, then you'll know that the meditation time is over. And all that we are doing is focusing on the air going in and out of our lungs and coming back to that every time. Okay, everybody understand what we need to do?